Justin Bieber in crisis.
Man, I think that there was times where I was really suicidal. Man, is this pain ever gonna go away?
His fans worry he's back on drugs.
I spoke to the rep for the Biebers who denied that Justin Bieber's taking any hard drugs.
His marriage, anything but easy.
Hailey said that at one point, she didn't want to do this anymore.
Justin Bieber, during his career, has made somewhere between $500 million and $1 billion.
His fortune squandered.
I was on a call with multiple people. Justin's side acknowledged in 2022 he was on the verge of, and the words were, financial collapse.
Friends and business associates he ghosted say it's because his church has a grip on him.
Cut to the chase. They are saying this is a cult.
If we're a cult, we're the worst cult in histories of all cults. We meet once a month, guys.
TMZ has dug deep, and what we uncovered is shocking.
Get out of here, get out of here, yo.
TMZ investigates what happened to Justin Bieber.
I need somebody to tell me what the is going on with Justin Bieber.
Pop sensation Justin Bieber is opening up about his mental health and the impact it's had on his 3-year marriage to model Hailey Bieber.
Justin Bieber posted this video, look at this, to Instagram today, saying he's postponing some upcoming shows because he has something called Ramsay Hunt syndrome.
I gotta go get my rest on.
Justin Bieber has reportedly canceled the remaining dates of his Justice World Tour.
Reports are sweeping the internet that Justin Bieber has fired longtime manager Scooter Braun, and the two haven't spoken in months.
For a fee of $200 million, Justin Bieber has sold off the entire rights to all of his music.
A longtime friend believes the pop star, who sold more than 150 million records, is, in his words, in a cult.
31-year-old has appeared thinner with dark eye circles.
It's money. You don't care about people. Only money.
So look, I mean, we have talked to a lot of people who are really worried about Justin Bieber's mental health. It seems like there is cause to worry. Cause to worry in his own words. I mean, he has talked now for 8 years about his mental health struggles, to a point he said he considered suicide.
There was times where I was really suicidal. Man, is this pain ever gonna go away?
We saw when he was coming up some of these tantrums that he would throw, but we kind of just thought, he's a kid, it's no big deal. What we found out from people in his world that we've spoken to, he's still having those tantrums.
No, this is funny to you guys? Get out of here, yo. Get out of here, yo. Get out of here.
In fact, there are people in his world, they call them now mantrums.
Go, get out of here. All you guys want is money. Money, 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 money. Money, money, money. Get out of here, bro. Okay. Get out of here, money.
We have talked to a lot of people now in Justin's world. They have opened up with us about money and other things. And you ask about mental health, and I swear to God, I was on a conference call with some of them. First thing is not talking about that. I mean, immediately, they're just shutting it down.
The only reason to do that is because there's something there, clearly.
Well, we've seen it.
Right.
Yeah. We've seen it during the Justice Tour when he was crying on stage.
He posted this long, almost essay. on how he felt unworthy. It is so common for celebrities to achieve success, and especially at a young age, that they're almost fooling people, that they are not as talented as the world thinks they are. They're not as deserving as the world thinks they are. And it messes them up in like a big way.
There are so many cautionary tales out there. Some make it, most don't. A big part of it is being thrust into an adult world prematurely and not going through the usual developmental stages of childhood and adolescence. Trying to give children and adolescents adult responsibilities is traumatic. Children need to be children.
We've seen him coming out of restaurants, coffee shops, looking frail, agitated, at paparazzi.
Thank you, JB, bro.
Yo, why do you thank me?
Because you're the best,
Don't
bro.
thank me, though.
No, I thank you.
That's disrespectful when you thank me, because I'm not asking you to be here.
And he has admitted in the past to being under the influence of different things.
MDMA, Xanax, marijuana.
Mushrooms.
I was waking up in the morning and the first thing I was doing is popping pills and smoking a blunt and starting my day.
One of the things that really kind of sounded the alarm was Coachella recently.
He definitely looked out of it.
Those videos were scary. He was slumped over. Fans online were obviously going down huge rabbit holes of speculation on what he could be taking.
We saw him smoking a blunt. There were people saying he's on mushrooms again. I mean, we've heard that buzz. I think what was really interesting, we found a woman who was standing literally right next to him for almost an hour and a half. And she had a very strong opinion.
It's funny because the first time that I saw him, I instantly thought to myself, he looks totally normal. He doesn't look anything like how the media portrays him. He just looked like a normal 30-year-old. It didn't seem like he was intoxicated. It didn't seem like he was inebriated. Honestly, he reminded me of how me and my girlfriends are when we go out, just having a good time.
Moving on to Justin Bieber, who is himself overseas in Iceland, where he's been working on an album. He's got a lot of collaborators over there. And when you're getting creative, apparently you go for a couple of bong rips.
It is a much more serious problem now because of, since legalization, the concentration of THC in weed is just, approaches 100%. So it is much more profoundly addictive, and there's much more significant psychiatric problems associated with it.
I spoke to the rep for the Biebers who denied that Justin Bieber's taking any hard drugs.
I know the same thing. His people have told me that all of this talk of hard drugs is nonsense.
Anytime someone says he's not doing hard drugs, to me, that just opens, what's a hard drug? That's very subjective.
Charles is right.
Right, because there are people who don't think that mushrooms are hard drugs.
That's right.
But don't tell me that mushrooms have an effect on your mood.
It's like his people are just running from this when you talk to them about his mental health. They just literally shut down and run from it.
His team told me that he's in the best place he's ever been in his entire life.
He's crying out, basically telling everyone, I'm trying to figure out stuff. I don't know what's going on. Right. I need help, and maybe he's getting help, and this is him working through it. But to say he's in the best place he's been in his entire life,
it doesn't make sense. It's like, who are you gonna believe, me or your lion eyes?
So one of the big things we keep hearing too is that Justin is kind of a little bit like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He can be very sweet, but then can turn that around and can have this really strong narcissistic personality. So it's kind of always like, which one are you gonna get?
it doesn't make you unstable, it just means you're trying to cope.
Right.
You gotta find some way to cope.
And it's impossible to think that a celebrity can be sweet all the time, right? Everyone's
No,
gonna
they're
have,
not.
nobody can be
Nobody
sweet all the
is,
time, right?
And I mean, you think, oh my God, he's Justin Bieber, he's gotta have the perfect life. It's like, how many times have we heard that? And it just is not true.
So when you think of Justin Bieber, you can't help but to think of him and Hailey together. They're an iconic couple. Everywhere they step out, paparazzi are following them. But their marriage has been extremely hard, and it seems like at one point they almost even split up.
Justin himself is, and maybe he was kind of joking, but he did an interview where he said, he was on Ellen actually, when he said, I think it was an arranged marriage.
They set this whole thing up. No, but since like, you know, she was raised Christian, she's like, oh, I want to, you know, introduce you to Justin and his mom. You know, they have similar values and believe the same thing. We think you guys will be good friends. It was definitely an arranged marriage now that I'm thinking about it. Goodness gracious.
Justin would be like on and off with Selena and then like be on and off with Hailey. Shortly after Selena and Justin broke up, he was out with Hailey. A lot of people online were saying that she was just waiting on the sidelines like an understudy. Do you remember, Harvey, when we broke their engagement? You and I were here on a Sunday, and we got a tip that Justin Bieber and Hailey got engaged in the Bahamas. And we were like, there's no way, because he was only back with her for like a month.
Beautiful! It's gorgeous!
You had these two young, high-profile celebrities that are married, and they hit a lot of road bumps. Hailey was pretty open about it, and so was Justin about all the marriage troubles that they had. Hailey said that at one point, she didn't want to do this anymore.
She gets treated like crap by his fans, who still are under this belief that he and Selena are meant to be together.
Right. Hailey Baldwin is the biggest. We're Team Selena. You're never going to be Selena Gomez.
If I said Selena, you know who I'm talking about. If I say Hailey, you have no clue who I am. So Hailey, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself and know who you are. Okay, sweetheart?
On the other hand, there are people we've talked to who have said that she kind of viewed this marriage as a young version of Jay-Z and Beyonce. But it's not like she just wanted to go off into the sunset quietly with Justin Bieber.
I don't think she minds the spotlight.
I think she loves
She loves the spotlight. What she doesn't love is how what has come for her with that spotlight is the abuse from fans who think that she's stalked him.
I'm convinced that Hailey was his stalker, 100%.
Justin had a lot of trauma, so taking that into a marriage was very difficult for them, and he pretty much had a breakdown in like the first year of their marriage.
Yeah.
Hailey had said that she called her mom crying when they were both in Manhattan, and she said she was telling her mom, I just can't do it. And there was also lack of trust.
Hailey was around him. She's known him long enough that when he was admittedly dating or sleeping with lots of different women,
Yeah, she knew he
when
was
he
a
talked
playboy.
about being promiscuous and a playboy, she was around and saw all that.
She doesn't really have anything to be insecure about because she married him and he is head over heels in love with her, and they have an absolutely adorable son who is just precious, who they love. But I think that that has to be hard because the press was attacking her relentlessly for simply being the one that he picked.
So look, I mean, there are people all around them that have said Selena is a thorn in their side. Not because Selena's done anything, it's their and especially Hailey's perception of Selena.
It's in Hailey's head.
Yeah.
As they say, Selena is living rent-free in Hailey's head.
There are people we've talked to who have said to this day, Selena is on her mind. Selena's almost like a benchmark for her. And you know, it's like from allegedly copying her tattoo.
Right, even like certain quotes.
So January 24th, 2020, Selena says,
I realized that everybody else seemed to be narrating my life for me.
Yes.
So why don't I put something out that is my side of the story?
a month later, Hailey says,
I realized that I was able to tell my story about who I was from my own mouth instead of people from the outside being able to tell my story for me.
That's pretty similar.
A month later.
Yeah.
Beebs, are you thinking about dropping Scooter?
Justin has had severe money trouble, and You know, people we've talked to, they've said they spend like crazy, but Hailey does too. And there was a story about the Justice Tour where Justin had this huge jet and Hailey wanted the same type of jet. And the tour managers were saying, you guys are spending too much money. Can she take a smaller jet? And we're told, she said, absolutely not. That's the jet that Kylie has, and I'm not taking a lesser jet. Now, that's what we hear. What are the two things that get marriages in trouble? Sex and money. Money is such a driver of conflict, and they were having huge money troubles, and it's unsurprising if that bled over into their relationship. The woman in Palm Springs, she said they were loving during that concert.
I can say that I witnessed with my own eyes, they're very much in love. He was very affectionate towards her. He was hugging her, kissing her, and she's very protective of him, which I could tell as well.
Justin is clearly, not only clearly going through it, he's saying he is. So if he's saying he is in public, what's he saying in private? So, you know, it just may be normal marriage, which is things go well and then things don't go well and they reset and they go back. But it does not sound like this was a smooth sail. One of our sources said that one of the issues was, you know, that he smokes a lot of marijuana and that at some point she said, you got to slow down, we have a kid.
He came into that marriage with already a lot of issues.
He came into the marriage thinking she could fix him.
Yeah.
And that's pressure
on her.
That's hard to deal with.
They have worked it out. They do seem tight. They do seem very much in love. So, you know, every marriage is gonna have issues, and theirs definitely has.
I got a rhythm on your heartbeat, when you're pushing up on me. Give it up for Justin! Oh, and the legend!
Justin Bieber, during his career, has made somewhere between $500 million and $1 billion. Yet, he had to sell his music catalog because he was broke, which is breathtaking.
And I say, oh, the way I breathe you in, it's the texture of your skin.
Money seems to be at the root of all of this. And the big money is Justin's music.
Hey, Justin.
Because when you listen to Bieber's side, they say he wrote everything. And when you talk to Scooter's side, guess what? He wrote none of his hits.
But if you look at all of his songs, he is listed as one of the writers.
Yep.
That also, we should say that's not uncommon. Like, once we heard that from Scooter's side that, well, Justin didn't actually write these, that didn't strike me as all that odd.
Justin's people were really offended by that.
I'm sure they were.
And they said he actually wrote those songs.
But you can technically, let's say Justin gets a demo, and we know that he got demos for some of these hit songs that were written by other people. We've spoken to the people who actually wrote them and sent the demos to him. If Justin says, you know what, I don't like this note.
Yeah.
And he changes one note, well, that's it. Now he's justified.
We talked to somebody who he was a collaborator with who said he sent Justin a demo and Justin didn't change a thing. Yet he was still listed.
Pooh Bear wrote that song that he recorded, and what we're told, and this is not from Scooter's side, this is, we know this, that the artist says that he did a demo for Justin, and not just a demo on Despacito, but on every song he wrote, and Justin never changed the demo, didn't change it a bit, that the demo is exactly like the recorded song.
So Justin was basically a singer.
If it's true that Justin Bieber didn't write a lot of the songs that he's gotten credit for, that's not unheard of. It's not that it happens all the time with all the artists that we love, but it would not be the first time that a major star put their name on a song that they didn't really write or barely wrote at all.
Scooter fought so hard for him to get these rights that he actually burned so many bridges with other artists.
So here it is. Pooh Bear, What Do You Mean, Despacito. Ed Sheeran and Benny Blanco, they wrote Love Yourself, and after the song was released, Ed Sheeran did a documentary, and you see the two of them recording the song, writing the song, and Justin's nowhere in sight.
Mrs. Carrot, don't you rain my parade.
Boyfriend was written by Mike Posner. Sorry was written by Julia Michaels and Justin Tranter.
So the bottom line is, according to Scooter's camp, Justin wouldn't have had this $200 million publishing deal if it wasn't for Scooter getting him the publishing right on all this music that he had really nothing to do with writing. Some of these writers wouldn't have hits if Justin Bieber hadn't sung their songs.
Yeah.
So they were fine with giving Justin some of the publishing rights.
And so, you know, look, the through line here is that Justin's people say, oh, Scooter screwed Justin. But when it comes to this, aggressiveness worked on Justin's.
On this, I don't see how Scooter screwed Justin. There are other things that you could definitely question. This is not one of them.
Scooter's the one who found Justin 18 years ago and made him a superstar.
That's what he does. That's what he's supposed to do. But Justin has such a different story about the beginning. You know, he was only 13 years old. He saw Scooter as a father figure. He put all his trust in him. And looking back, he feels like he was fleeced. He feels like he was bamboozled in this entire working career together.
Was he bamboozled? How was he bamboozled? What specifically did Scooter do to hurt him?
Who's telling Justin that he was bamboozled?
Who's telling him?
But no, people are in his ear.
There are outside influences that may have played a factor here.
It's so crazy because when you think of Scooter and Justin's relationship over the years, they were so close. You know, you could see that Scooter did love Justin like a son, and Justin did love Scooter like a father. You could totally see that just from their interactions over the years.
We have that clip of when Justin was a kid and he wanted to buy a toy helicopter, right? And it was Scooter who was saying, no, you can't, you don't need this.
Well, I need to get a helicopter. No, a little flying helicopter. It's really little.
And that's such a fatherly figure.
Very fatherly. There's another way to look at it, which clearly Justin is viewing it this way now, is that, yeah, he loved me. Yeah, he was being like a father to me because I was making him incredibly rich.
Yeah.
I was the golden goose.
There's an old saying, though, if you got somebody who's getting a percentage of your money, the richer they get, the richer you got.
And this is a tale that is as old as the music industry. Yes, there's always going to be someone else who's making money off the artist, but if the artist feels like that person is getting too much, then this is where you end up.
The breaking point for Justin Bieber and Scooter Braun, but really Justin, is the Justice Tour.
She's confident, I can tell by the way she walks in the room.
That is the tour where Justin pulled the plug in the middle and went into massive debt, and the fans were pissed off, and there was just a lot of finger pointing. So the show kicked off in February 2022. Justin did 49 shows, and then he pulls the plug, and he doesn't do the remaining 81 shows.
Justin Bieber revealing on social media that he has been diagnosed with Ramsay Hunt syndrome, a rare condition causing paralysis of part of his face and forcing him to postpone dates on his current tour.
So this is really interesting. So Ramsay Hunt is a really serious condition where you can get shingles in your inner ear, you lose your balance, and you can get Bell's palsy, which is, you know, a facial paralysis.
Which we saw with him.
Yeah, we saw that he had like lack of mobility on one side of his face.
As you can see, this eye is not blinking. I can't smile on this side of my face. This nostril will not move.
He still has a little of that. He still has a little of that.
We're told he actually had to do, he had a physical.
Yeah.
because the insurance company, he's trying to get the money from the insurance company. We're told that he passed that physical, that they said there's nothing wrong with him. And even though there's a dispute about whether or not the insurance company should have paid, if they didn't pay, to me, that reads exactly like he really did pass the physical. Because why else would they not pay? If an insurance company doesn't pay, they're opening themselves up to a huge lawsuit where they're going to lose not only that money that they owed, but they could lose punitive damages.
And it says something that Justin has not filed a lawsuit against the insurance company.
Yeah.
We didn't talk to the doctor, but to me, the only way to read that is he passed the physical.
Which is crazy because anybody that was watching his social media, watching the concerts from afar, you saw him break down. When the tour first started, he immediately got COVID. So he was sick from that. It started off terribly. And then he gets the Ramsay Hunt syndrome, and we see him on stage crying, breaking down to the audience, and everyone's like, what is going on with Justin? He's not in a good place. So the fact that he was able to, allegedly do this physical and come out of it looking pretty healthy, it doesn't add up to what we saw.
Don't you think now that we know about the insurance policy and that he had to go through this physical, I look back at those social media posts as him trying to make it clear, trying to make a case for, I need to get this insurance money.
Scooter's camp has told us he just thinks Justin wanted to go home.
Right.
That he was just tired, he wanted to spend more time with Hailey, he wanted to go on vacation, he wanted to live his life without going on tour.
Yeah, but then our Justin sources say that he was set up for failure, that he was, he was put out there like a show pony to do all these tricks and shows every single night.
There's an advance that AEG paid.
We know this from both sides.
Right.
So AEG, which through the concert, gives Justin a $40 million advance. When Justin cancels the tour, AEG says, hey, yours $24 million. And Justin's like, I don't have the money. And so Scooter's company, Hybe, they say, look, we'll assume this debt and we'll pay it off for you, Justin. So Justin then signs a note saying he'll pay Scooter's company that $24 million back over a 10-year period. And he makes one payment. And this is where the conflict starts. So we're told from Scooter's side that Justin's people called and said he doesn't have the money to pay anymore. And he's never paid another payment. Now, from Justin's side, they're saying, well, his accountant, his business manager, Lou Taylor, started digging and said Scooter was way overpaid commissions. Justin said, you screwed me. You took way too much in commissions. So Scooter orders an internal audit from Hybe, his company, and they look at all the books and they come out and they say, guess what? Justin owes me $1 million. I don't owe him anything. He owes me $1 million based on the audit.
But see, if I'm Justin, I look at that and say, well, of course you guys are gonna say that. It's your company. It's Hybe that did the audit.
And we know Justin's people said that. So Scooter then hires an independent company.
Pricewaterhouse.
Same people that do the
They do the Oscars. They do the Oscar tallies. They're a very respectable, independent accounting firm.
Pricewaterhouse spends 6 months doing an audit, and it comes back in April, last month. It comes back and it shows Justin did not owe Scooter $1 million. He owed him more than $8 million.
Oops.
Almost $9 million.
Yeah,
oh boy.
Almost $9 million.
Almost $9 million.
Remember, Justin's the one who asked for this independent audit, and he gets it back and it says he owes $8 million, so that whole plan has gone south. What we found out is that after that, he doesn't like that number. His team does their own audit, but they won't tell us what the results of that audit.
Which says something.
And we've been talking to both sides, and they will not say anything about it. They won't dispute the $8+ million figure.
But we were told he doesn't even want that money.
By the way, if Justin had just finished that tour, he would have made $90 million.
Yeah,
that would have solved a lot of his problems.
$90 million. When you're rolling in dough, all of this doesn't matter that much. When you're broke and you want to start blaming people, that's when it matters. I was on a call with multiple people. Justin's side acknowledges, because Scooter's side was saying for a long time, this is because Justin's broke. And Justin's side, Charlie, we were doing this story where Justin's side was saying he doesn't have money trouble, he has plenty of money and everything else.
There's no truth to that. There's been a lot of rumors for a while that he's been having money problems, but we were told consistently he's not having money problems.
So I'm on this call, and somebody really in the know said that in 2022 he was on the verge of, and the words were, financial collapse. And that's why he had to sell his catalog.
He was so broke in 2022 that he had to borrow Will Bracey, who's a member of the church.
His COO.
His COO. He had to borrow Will's credit card so he could go play golf. That's how broke he was.
That's
he could not afford a round of golf.
But it's not cheap to be the biggest pop star in the world. He is the biggest pop star in the world. Of course he has to charter jets. Of course he has mega mansions, which, by the way, we were told he paid cash for all the houses.
And it struck us when he made that sale and they announced the sale.
Justin Bieber just sold his music catalog for an estimated measly $200 million.
It was shocking.
We were all like, why is Justin Bieber at such an early stage in his career selling off his catalog? And there were other people who were selling their catalogs, but they were all much older. And so it was like, why is he selling this?
Sold out of desperation.
Justin, Hailey, and Michael Rhodes,
his attorney,
went to Scooter and said, we got to sell this catalog. Scooter said no. And finally, when Scooter realized they were going to sell it, this was in December, Scooter said, at least wait until January because you'll get a tax break if you wait till January. And Justin said, I got to sell it now. And he sold it in December. That's how broke he was. But, you know, how on earth do you blow through $1 billion?
8 buses. 8 buses, one that you do a renovation for $2 million on. Insisting on flying on only heavy jets. Can't take a light regular jet. Justin and Hailey wanted to.
You're talking about the Justice Tour.
Yeah, on the Justice Tour. I mean, he just spent and spent. Right now, he's in Iceland in a hotel for almost $60,000 a night, rented out the place.
In Justin's defense, he was 13 years old when he became a star. He didn't understand money. And, you know, maybe Scooter should have, you know, schooled him better on money management as he's growing up, because like you said, if he's a surrogate father, you got to do something with your kid. And Justin was, I mean, from everybody we've talked to, even on Justin's side, that he just spent wildly. This is almost a psychology thing, that when you go broke this way, you want to blame somebody.
Yeah.
And then the question is, who's to blame? I think Scooter bears some responsibility for not teaching him better when it came to money. I mean, I think that's fair.
To be fair to Scooter, maybe he attempted to, but how much does a kid want to hear? Like,
there's only so much
there's only
Scooter
so much you
can do.
And that's true of not just a manager, that's true of a parent. Everything that we've seen as far as legally on contracts and deals that were made,
and audits,
it seems very clear that Scooter is owed money, and Scooter didn't do anything underhanded. Everything was in contracts that Justin signed and even reaffirmed years later. So I don't see how Scooter is wrong. I can see how Justin feels like Scooter is the bad guy. But legally, he's not in the wrong.
And so then the question becomes, who's in Justin's ear? There's a kind of common thread that has gone through Justin Bieber's life since he became famous, that he always has like a Svengali. He had Scooter Braun, who was not just his manager, but it's like a surrogate father. And then, you know, he gets Carl Lentz, who is part of a church, the pastor of a church, Hillsong, that he just gloms onto, and he is Justin's guru. And now there's another one, Judah Smith. And Judah Smith is different.
Thank you. Justin for the opportunity.
He has a ton of influence over Justin. Some people are saying like he's actually controlling Justin.
And not just his personal life, his business life.
And that's where it becomes an issue where it's not just about Justin's been religious for a long time, and so him having a relationship with his pastor is not all that shocking. But when the pastor is now sitting on the board of a company that Justin founded,
Clothing line, Drew House.
Drew House, and then that relationship falls apart, Justin's relationship with Ryan Good, who he co-founded Drew House with.
His best man at his wedding.
His best man at his wedding. When that falls apart, people
Scooter Braun
falls out. And everyone starts to, particularly, let's be honest, the people who get cut out of Justin's life are pointing a finger at Judith, saying that there's something
He's the reason why.
that he's saying or doing with Justin that makes Justin not trust all these people who've been around him and helped him in his career and personally up to this point.
Well, cut to the chase. They are saying this is a cult and that Judah is the cult leader. Judah has laughed at that.
Like, if we're a cult, we're the worst cult in histories of all cults. We meet once a month, guys.
There's all of these attacks that are being, slewn at him and at Judah and at Church Home, saying that this is like a cult. It is not what they're making it out to be, and I think it's because for the first time in a long time, he has a circle of people that are protecting him and really care about him, and the people who are obviously bringing these stories to the media are threatened by that.
We spoke with a woman who actually sued the church.
As staff member, it became very clear and apparent to me that one of the you have to do's was just, hey, you have to give money back to the church. 10% of your gross income, this is a non-negotiable.
To not tithe off of a paycheck that comes from a tithe doesn't work for me. I'm just gonna be real clear. It just doesn't work for me. You are not as invested as you think you are if there's not a money trail.
And I'd be like, hey, I really can't afford it. If you want me living on a street, I can give you 10% of my income, but I can't do that.
I'll be very honest, people have already been transitioned and moved on and fired because they were not tithing.
And then in February of 2023, I got a final ultimatum that was like, hey, if you're not giving 10% in 4 weeks, you're gonna be fired. And so at that point, we decided to file a class action lawsuit. And the reason it was class action is because I can count on, 2 hands how many people have been fired for not tithing.
You are painting the picture of a cult.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. I think Church Home is a cult, absolutely.
The church tells us Rachel Kellogg's lawsuit was dismissed and her claims have been settled.
You're in the palm of my hand. It'll be all right. My arms are wrapped around you. It'll be all right.
She thinks, and other people think too, that Justin is under the spell of this guy. Look, Justin's changed his life because of this guy.
Yeah.
How does this pastor end up on the board of directors of his clothing company?
That's where everyone starts to really raise his eyebrows. They're worrying about the money, right? That they think that Judah is forging this relationship with Justin because it means more money for the church.
There must be more than getting up and going to work and getting a paycheck and being a nice person. There must be more.
What about the people who attend church? Does he talk about them giving money as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They call it generosity. We invite you to join us on this generous journey. The whole message is about how Jesus will acknowledge that you're giving. It's the prosperity gospel.
If you'd like to join us in this generous journey, you can click on the giving hands on the app. They look kind of like this. All right, that's not necessary, but you can click on the giving hands and you can participate in giving.
We asked to talk to Judah and he wouldn't do it.
They gave a statement. Judah served on the Drew House board at the request of both Ryan and Justin without receiving any financial compensation.
When Justin started having issues with Scooter, a lot of people in that world think Judah was the one who drove the wedge. We're told Judah and Justin were going to Scooter saying, why don't you love Jesus? And Scooter's Jewish,
Right.
and was really pushing this, excoriating Scooter for not believing in Jesus. And then they have this meeting.
It was supposed to be a business meeting with Justin and his attorney.
Right.
But Lou Taylor, his business manager, is also there.
Who's a member of the church.
Right,
board of
who's a member of the
directors.
church, and Judah.
What we're told by an eyewitness is Justin goes into the meeting and says, "You me over, you me over," and just keeps repeating it. And Scooter's like, what are you talking about? I mean, it ain't hard to decode this, that somebody was in his ear, and it sounds like Judah and maybe Lou Taylor are in his ear saying, Scooter's stealing money from you. Why were they going after Scooter this way? We have eyewitnesses here, and the words from Lou Taylor were, "I am also a woman of the cloth and the ministry. Justin can forgive you, but he can't move forward with a relationship with you." How's his business manager saying that?
Well, Lou Taylor was the one that uncovered everything, right, and came to Justin.
Did she? Because we've looked
That's
at the
what we
book.
heard.
Yeah, I know, but we've looked at the books.
And there's nothing to uncover.
There's nothing to uncover. We see what the audits show. The best man at his wedding, one of his closest friends, Ryan Good, we're told is Justin and Judah go up to Ryan one day and they start grilling him on his sex and dating life.
Ryan, from what we're told, he felt that it was invasive, and it really turned him off from the church, and we're told that
To
he ended up
Judah, not
leaving.
Justin, to Judah.
Well, yeah, so him and Judah completely broke off.
And we're told this is when Ryan started to feel like church home was a cult.
Yeah.
That's when he started using the cult word.
And Justin cut him off. Justin just cut Ryan out of his life. Why is it that Justin has just been isolating from everybody in his life, except the church?
Except for Judah.
Except for Judah. So Justin's in Iceland right now, and he's recording music. The question, he has been out of the game for a while. Can he come back the way he was before?
He can. It's gonna be a lot harder than he maybe thinks it is. It's been 4 years since his last album. Music has changed, there's been a generational shift, and Justin is young, he's in his early 30s, but he's been in the game for over 15 years now. He's kind of a veteran at this point.
You would expect that whatever this album is, that it's probably a number one, that it debuts at number one?
It's guaranteed, pretty much.
There's still huge demand for his music, both old and potentially upcoming. He's still one of the most streamed people every month on Spotify. So there's been this buildup, and people are really excited to hear whatever comes next.
His fans like him in the past 5, 10 years. He's gotten married, he's had a kid, he's grown up, and so have his fans. They probably have kids now too. If you're a teenager, if you're 15, 16 years old right now and a pop music fan, you were born when Baby came out.
It is crazy to think that in his early 30s that he could be a legacy act.
I took my chick up to the north, yeah, badass bitch. I get my light right from the source, yes.
He hated touring. He's canceled 2 tours at various stages. And if you're a legacy act, you can be in one place night after night, make a ton of money. He has a family, doesn't like touring. He may embrace being a legacy act.
And does he want to be a pop star is honestly the big question that's not really been answered. Does he want to play the game? Does he want to do all those things you have to do when you're a relevant pop star?
Everything we've seen is he doesn't want to be a pop star anymore.
It doesn't seem like it.
And by the way, he'll still get a lot of money. It's not like those hotels will pay him huge amounts of money to do what Adele's doing.
Millions.
Yes. Ultimately, their finances are going to be fine. Regardless of what he might be going through, she's sitting on a gold mine. Her company, Road Beauty, is valued at more than $1 billion.
What you wanna be, what you want from me, I wanna know.
Hey, not a bad life. You do a couple residencies, spend what you want to spend, you run out of money, you just do it again.
The good thing for him is he's in his early 30s and can do whatever he wants. He can make music if he wants to, he can make the kind of music he wants to, he can play the game and be a pop star, the fans will be there if he chooses it. If he doesn't, it doesn't mean anything to him. His legacy's set.
Everybody give it up for Justin Bieber.